Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about shame resilience and how I choose to overcome it on a daily basis by practicing vulnerability and being my authentic self. So before we divulge into the topic of what shame is, I wanted to give you a definition by my favorite researcher, Dr. Brené Brown. She states that shame is this intensely painful feeling or experience that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love and belonging. Something that we've experienced, done, or failed to do makes us unworthy of connection. So what is shame? I'm a self-made prison. I am shame that slithers in silence. I smell like decaying bodies. I taste like rustic, acidic nails. I feel like prickling bushes. What you can't see in this photo is the sense of shame that I'm feeling. Yes, I'm smiling for the cameras, and there's slivers of hope, but I'm silently judging my weight, the way I'm wearing my hijab. It's not the traditional style, and the imposter critic telling me that I'm not worthy enough. Shame is woven into our everyday conversations and interactions. It's subtle and it's loud, it's deafening and it's paralyzing. Yet recognizing it can also set us free and let us live a life without shame impacting us. So what is shame comprised of? It can range from experiences from being a particular gender to an internalized message that we learned as a child. For me, I'm recovering from body dysmorphia. It can be comparison-based thoughts and behaviors. So I feel ashamed at the image of my body. Comparison is a killer. These women in magazines are talented and beautiful. What did I have to offer to the world? I, plain Jane. It can also be experienced as an immigrant. I'm a first-generation immigrant, a Muslim, a Pakistani American. I remember watching my mother hand folded food stamps to the cashier and the line behind us staring as if to say, "You don't belong here." I remember her fumbling through her wallet and feeling ashamed that we needed the government's assistance for a short while. It can also be defined through our core beliefs. For me, it started when I was young, when my father decided to walk out the back door, when I lived in Pakistan, when I was only 5 years old. From my childhood to my adulthood, I would say such things as, I am worthless, I am unlovable, I am undeserving, I am pathetic, I am. And these core beliefs defined me and shaped me. This is a picture of my mom raising us single-handedly while working at Wendy's, where she learned her English while we lived with our grandparents. When my mom would come to school and speak English, I would cringe and I would feel ashamed. As an adult, I recognized that I was embarrassed, that my mom wasn't like the other moms and that her English wasn't perfect, but it allowed me to be reflective of my own experience and my own behaviors and thoughts. So what are some ways to defeat shame? In my experience, once I understood the language of shame, I became proud of my mother for raising 4 kids single-handedly in America, which is no small feat, providing us with an opportunity to get an education, and I didn't care if her English wasn't perfect. Another tool was acknowledgement. Once I was able to acknowledge the shame and walk through the web, I knew that my soul would rejuvenate despite the cuts and bruises. I have struggled for a long time, not understanding why my father walked out the back door and how a parent could just walk out and not look back. And It made me feel like I was unworthy and I didn't belong anywhere. But having cultivated resiliency and hope, I can now stand in front of you and talk about this topic without catastrophizing or breaking down. I'm creating my own narrative and integrating pieces of my story so that I can be whole again. Having authentic and emotional connections have helped me reduce shame in my life. This is a picture of me and my sister hiking in the mountains of Afghanistan. The happiness that is captured in this picture isn't due to the fact that I wasn't experienced in altitude or mountain climbing or the fresh air that would hit my lungs when I reached the top. But it was due to the fact that I didn't let my inner voices of shame stop me. I wasn't going to let that feeling of incompetence stop me from having this memory and this experience. Another way is through gratitude. And I am grateful to those who sat with me while I cried in agony, to those who held my hands, to those whose love knows no boundaries. I am beyond grateful for you all. For having practiced gratitude in the last 5 years, I feel like it has started to smother shame and resiliency. For I have broken free of the shackles of shame and risen like the phoenix. So how do we overcome it as a society? There's many tools that we can use, and these are what I have found individually and collectively to be helpful. They are having practiced gratitude, volunteering and charity work, recognizing black and white thinking, engaging and having authentic and social connections with other people, reaching across the table despite our political, religious differences and saying, I understand and I'm going to sit here with you despite the difference. I hope that these tools can be helpful for you as they have given me a second chance. Thank you for your time.